PowerPoint presentation and put it up there full screen and it'll play, you know, just like from the laptop. Or if you want to play a video off of YouTube, you could do it through the other laptop.
Okay.
You know, you can pump the sound into your sound system and use that as like a TV.
Yeah, I just don't know. I guess kind of what we've been doing is just been self-driving it right now. I just made graphics in Photoshop, and we've just been cycling graphics through. And we've had a couple of games where we have a student like running in, and they've been hitting the kill button for the animation when there's a kill or something like that.
Yeah, typically during a sporting event, you would have, you know, your cue of whatever messages you're going to play during the game. You know, whether they're school messages or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and that's running. And then when something happens, you know, if there's someone that's watching the game here, you know, then they can put up the animation and then just go back to whatever your messages are.
Gotcha. And you just use the video mixer to do that?
No, well, actually, in Interactive Commander here.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, you got all this stuff running.
Yeah.
So, you know, you would have this open during the game, and then, let's see. And then if there's a, well, this is a bad example because this is already in here. Skip some of these. So if this is, you know, your queue of messages, someone has to obviously create.
Yep.
And then, you know, during the volleyball game, you know, if there's a kill or whatever, you know, when someone will come over here. And when these are red hot, when you double click it, it goes right
on there.
It kills the thing that was there, you know. And then if you have a repeat or a PQ on, you might want to play it a couple times. So really, the biggest part of this is determining, you know, creating the content that you want to put up there,
Exactly.
which you can either do in this, you know,
Yep.
and I can go over that with you or him or whoever, and so I can show you how to do all that. And then determining what you're going to play, and if you're going to put it on autopilot, like you said, you may just have messages running during the game, you know, and then no one's really administering what else is going on over here.
Gotcha.
I would consider trying to get the kids involved, you know, to
Yeah,
operate. Because,
definitely.
you know, they're going to want to, you know, enjoy. They'll spend a time putting this stuff together because it's time. It's just like the sign up front. This is even more. It gets more complicated to create the content within this if you're doing it in this interface.
Right. Exactly.
Are
Now,
you familiar
do you know-
with how to create messages?
The
in
message builder, I am not. After
Okay.
you left that day, I tried to get it and I failed miserably.
Okay. So who would be doing that?
Me, Mr. Vackert, students probably.
Okay. Front and center, brother.
All right.
All right. So let's go ahead and close this out. This is just sign viewer. Let's go ahead and close this. Why don't you just click yes?
Yes.
And what are the pixels up there if I'm designing in Photoshop for this sign so they play correctly? Do you know what dimensions I should use?
224 by 384, I believe.
224 by 384.
I believe so. I can send that to you. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm pretty
cool.
sure it's 224 by 384.
Okay.
So these are all single click buttons. Okay. So if we wanted to preview what's going on the screen, we would click sign viewer, which is right there, just one time, and that pulls up a preview of what's literally playing up there. Interactive Commander is what we would have open when we're trying to control the screen. Message Editor is where we're going to create most of our content. So if you open that, okay, this is a preview of your screen up there. This is your little
Work area or?
yeah, like Microsoft Word type situation over here. All right, and everything is done on layers. All right, so over here we have the layers tab highlighted, and right now we're on the text layer. Okay, there's also a background layer. Okay, you'll notice the text stuff goes away when I click on that layer. So to create a message, you know, with text, we would come over here and you can start to type whatever you want the message to be. All right, so if we want to change the color of the font, we would highlight it. And then go where it says color, there's a color tab.
Since you said you want to help
And
out,
if you
maybe
hover over any of those
basketball
colors, it'll pull up a box of even more.
Sit that.
Click it. Yep. All right, so now you could change the size of the font, the orientation of the font.
Is this the same thing as the Pluto? It's the fonts in your computer?
It is,
Okay,
correct.
perfect.
If you want to add more, you can add more. So right now, auto size is not turned on. All right, if you click this button, all right, I want to go ahead and delete this text here. All right, if you click auto size, as you type, it will fit the text to the screen. So start typing something. Keep going. Eric was walking to school today, and he got
Yeah, right, everything's cool.
bit by a snake. But you see, with that on, it takes the text and fits it specifically to the screen.
That's cool.
Auto size.
Yeah, auto.
Auto size.
And then if you highlight it, you can obviously change the size of the text. You can change a whole bunch of stuff. It's hard for me to do from over here. Now, you also have kerning, which if you look up here, what that does is it stretches it one way or the other. And then the lead is the text the other way. So there's all kinds of variables that you can have here. This text is horrible. So let's change it to something else. Go ahead, type in, welcome to Cary High School. And then highlight that text. Change the size down from 100.
Might need to get a mouse for this laptop.
Yeah, you definitely need a mouse. So, and again, now we're on the text layer, so you can change any of this. You can italicize it left, right, change the lead, the kerning, all that kind of stuff. You can also change the color, by choosing whatever color you want with it highlighted. Okay.
Can you change the background finish? Or you gotta go to another. I'm waiting.
Yeah, this is. So you get the text that you want associated where you want it. Okay. And again, you'll notice we're on the text layer. Okay. So when we're on the text layer, we have to determine now for each layer. You have to go to effects, right? And you have to choose how you want the text to come onto the screen, how you want it to display and for how long, and how you want it to go off. All three of those need to be chosen. Okay, so right now it's on copy on. So if you go over there to click down, you can change how it's going to come on to change that to something else.
Fade on.
Okay, and then now click display in the center there. All right, and right now it's only 0.66 seconds, so we want to change that.
3 seconds maybe? Or?
No, that's 0.66.
Oh, that's 0.6?
You can move the slider if you don't want to mess with that. That's a half a second.
That's
not
a half
really long
second.
enough. Yeah, keep going. There you go. All right, stop right there. That's 3 seconds. All right, and then we have to choose how it's going to go off.
So exit hold.
Hold means it's going to stay forever. Right off, whatever. Pick one. It doesn't matter. Okay. So now we are on the text layer. We've put our text in here. We've chosen how it's going to come on, how it's going to display, and how it goes off. Now this is just for this layer. Okay. So if we want to preview that, if you hit the little green button on top, fades on, displays for 3 seconds, and then does whatever you told it to do to go off. Okay. Now that's just the text layer. Now if we go over to the layers again, now there's also a background layer. All right. So if we want the background to be a different color, let's say we want the background to be white. First of all, under tools.
Middle school and high school students, so grades 6 to 12, you are not to use those restrooms.
color of the background, we have to be on the background tab, and we can go to the paint color, right? And then we go to color, and so we want it to be white. Right? Now, as long as we're on this layer here, if I click this, it's going to paint it white. Now you say, hey, where'd the text go? Well, you notice there's multiple layers. This layer's on top of this layer right now, so I have to move it down, and there's the text. Okay, now this layer's on top of this layer. So you can also have transitions for, if you leave the background as default, like if I hit play now, it's gonna change the same as the lettering does. You see right there, but I could, if I wanted to, go into effects and change just on this frame how it comes on, how it displays. So you can have all kinds of crazy stuff going on, but it gets really complicated. So to create a basic message, you know, we would do what you just did. We probably want this font to be a little bit bigger, maybe. Yeah. That's like 60, maybe. And we can play with this all day. So now you'll notice when I hit this up here, it does exactly what we told you. And you'll see we're on frame 1 of 1, all right? So if we wanted to add a frame to this, okay, and now this is the second frame. Now you see we're on frame 2 of 2. So now again, we have to go to effects, how we want it to come on, how we want it to display, so we want it to sparkle, and how we want it to go off, and then the timing needs to be changed. So now if I hit play, this is going to come on, it's going to do its thing for the amount of time that it's supposed to. Then the second frame is going to come on, interleave on, display, sparkle, and then go away. Now, in each and every one of these transitions, you can get to how fast you want it to spark. I mean, there's all kinds of settings that you can get into. All right, so now you'll see there's 2 frames, 2 of 2 we're on. So if we want to add another one, you can either just click, you know, go up here, frame, add frame. Now we have the third frame, so we will put in, say we want to bring a picture in, okay? This is a little bit different, it's more complicated than, if you want to pull pictures in this way, as opposed to, you know, you just pulling them in the way that you've been doing it, all right? You need to use the file import function. So you'll file, import, all right, which brings up the file import menu, and then file, I want to find a picture I want to open, so I'm going to go to, let's say I want this C. Open. Now, you'll notice this little transparent thing here. See this? That is the size of your screen. It's supposed to be anyways. Why is that off? Let's see. So the picture right now is way too big for, you know, the size of the screen. So you can do you can resize the picture in here, you know, and if you have the aspect ratio on, it'll get smaller. So what is that for?
415.
That's 300 maybe. Okay, so we get whatever image we want pulled into where we want it. Okay, and then click frame capture. All right, it captures it, and then you have to import it either before or after the, you know, current frame. We'll put after current frame. Then I close this, and if I come over here, there should be. It should go. Wait a minute. Probably on the wrong layer. Can't see it. Why is that doing that? It's maybe right here. I don't know why this is something set up right here. Can I just move over here for a second? Oh boy, there's the problem.
It wasn't just me, good. Because I was really having a heck of a time trying to get pictures in there to fit right.
See, here's the thing. Right here, when you go File, New, this should be 224 by 384. We were creating that message at a different size. This is now right. That's what was causing all of those weird problems.
Gotcha.
Okay. So now if I go to import a picture, now that picture, there's the size of your screen, there's the picture. You can see it's way too big.
Huge. Yeah.
Right. So we're going to take this down to like. All right. And then you can take this and you kind of put the transparent over the part of the picture that you want to pick up.
There
So
you
if
go.
that's good, we go frame capture, import, we'll put before current frame. Now if we go over here, there it is. Now, with this frame highlighted, this little hand tool comes in real handy. Now, this looks pretty good here, but let's say that it was a picture that needed to be moved. As long as you have this layer highlighted, which is the current layer, this is not the text layer, this is a background layer, I can take this hand tool and I can move this wherever I want, which makes life a lot easier. So if I wanted to put text over it or whatever, you know, say I want to move this over to the left, then I could go over here to the text layer, you know, associate it over this way, and I could type in whatever. Carry. Now, again, we got to go to the effects tab. Now we're on the text layer, so we're going to have this. Let's say filter on, display for, and then fade off. Now, if I go to this layer, which is just the picture, you know, there's a couple things we can do. We can offset the time so that it doesn't show up for 2 seconds after this. That's what the time offset is, okay? And then we can also choose how this layer, which is this separately, the picture now, how this is gonna come on, you know, how it's gonna display, and how it's gonna go off. And if you leave it default, if you leave those alone, if there's more than one layer, it defaults to whatever the text layer is, the attributes to that. But if we want to preview it now, you'll see 2 second offset before this comes on, pops on, goes off. So you can have multiple frames with multiple things going on. Make sense? I know I'm going through this real fast.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
Oh, this is a complicated, and it actually, there's a whole lot more than just this that we can do. If we add a frame, there's backgrounds here. This tab wasn't even selected before, but these are, like if I choose the back to school one, as long as I have this displaying long enough. Well, let me go back, kill that. Start over here. It should show up. So these are animated backgrounds. All right, and there's a bunch of them. So if you time this right, you can see that this is just like, you know, all I did was I clicked on backgrounds, I chose this one, and then you have to make sure that the time is long enough. All right, and if you play it, you can see what it is. So now what you would want to do is probably, you know, at the right time have some text come up on the chalkboard, okay, which would be in the text layer. So if we go over to the text layer and then we put, you know, school is in session. All right. The other thing you can do with this hand tool is, which makes life a lot easier when you're creating stuff. Size of it. Grab this hand tool, you can move this text around too.
Yeah, that's
you know, which makes it a whole lot easier. So then we got to figure out what the time offset should be so it gets timed up properly. And you can have it either visible or invisible at start. So if we click off this, it doesn't show up until 2 seconds. Right? So now we click play. It's it started a little too soon, so we would want to change this maybe to 3 seconds. So if we stop this, we go to 3, play.
Cool.
I think that there's a way. Actually, I thought these would show up. Yeah, I just put the card on there. So there's a whole bunch of these, and you can. Like this is a metal, so then you would put, first, there's a whole bunch of different backgrounds that are in here. And everything that you create and anything that you do, and this is important, is in the ProLine Media folder. So there's a shortcut to ProLine Media on the desktop here. If it'll open. Animations, backgrounds. In the backgrounds folder this is where all these different backgrounds are. All right, if you wanted to put more in there, you could, and this again, it has to be an AVI, and I'll get you that proper stuff for that. But if you wanted to preview these, you could preview them here.
While I'm thinking of it, can you add the demo version of that in your list of things to get me?
I can absolutely do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll send you an email with a link, and you can download it, and with the proper instructions on how to install the demo version. Because this is, I could spend 6 hours training you guys on this. Honestly, this part of the software is becomes very complicated to use however you want to use it. So what I think you should do is, get somewhat familiar with this, and then determine who's going to be creating the content, and then I can come back and spend, way more time with those people. I know if it's going to be you or him, or if it's going to be kids,
right,
or if you want to teach this in a class and have them do it, but it's all based. Everything's based on, in this, unlike what's out there, it's based on frames and layers. Okay, and it's pretty common in the computer world, layers and frames. So you could have multiple layers. I could have 3 or 4 text layers here if I wanted to. If I click this button right here, it'll add another text layer. I could have 10 text layers and have them come all on at different times, coming in from different ways. And
so when you create a new frame by default, it gives you a graphic and a text layer.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. This again deletes them. This reorders them. If you wanted to move one up or down. And then each layer, you have to associate the effects on how it's going to come on, how it's going to display, and how it goes off. If you only do that to one of the frames, then the other one will default to. What I'm saying is, if I go over here to, and if you click this out of the way, it'll pull off of here, which I hate. If I go to, on my text layer here, and I change the effects on this, it also changes the effects on the other one, the other frame. So it'll be together. Not long enough. Yeah, so you can display, it's only a minute, 1.5 seconds. So let's say let's create a message that we actually want to put up there. Let's see.
Football.
Like this is a football that flies over, and then you probably would want to put text in behind that somewhere.
Next football game, blah, blah, blah.
Right. So you can go to this text layer.
Next football game will not be at a stadium like this.
color, whatever.
We just started 2 weeks ago with our to get the phone. So that's why I was waiting to see is participating by phone going to fly.
That's right.
All right, so we go to this. We don't really like what that text is on there, so
We're not there
let's see
often,
here.
so I'm
Move it around.
Yeah. How do I get to the point where I can see the hand over top of that picture? Is there a way to do
You
that?
can do
or
that
not?
on a video.
time to get
On a video, it doesn't. The text. I don't know why that text doesn't show. Oh, it's because I got it unvisible, probably. It should be showing up. I don't know why it's not.
Yes. It will. Yep. I asked him that when I got here. Good question.
Just open. You know, we had those challenges. We said, "Now get it sometimes. How do you vision?"
I think it's because I got a background down here, but you should be able to see it.
Last year. Whole different set of problems.
Absolutely.
No, we had doors around each one.
Right.
Doors in the ocean. The only lock was on the outside. So I think we would put on and try to put the back side down. You can't. So
Sounds like it's windy outside.
we called the drag slide.
I'll have to do this.
And it's basically coming like this wedge. These two hurricane money and thick screens.
Matthew. It's up to category 3.
Oh, but that Don't tell me that.
No, we're out of it now. So
Thank God.
it's like, hey, I was driving 65 and going 55. Well, I can't get you now.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So, fire marshal's coming.
The video files have to be in AVI
I
format.
know, what do you want to do? Not much you can do in a lockdown situation, so
Right.
I'm just not going to use it.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't want to know that you do it.
Right.
Yeah, because then what happens is it gets shelter in place and then fire. And I don't think we'll get that.
I have to take over Mr. McLeod's
So, do they
CAD
still
lab
have
one second period. So we can
So,
make some of these graphics.
After you get everything set in here, you do a file save as, and you would name it. And this should always point you in the Proline Media messages folder. That's where you want to save all your messages.
Proline Media Messages.
And it should always point you there. You just want to keep all your content in the same place. So let's just name this
Swap out. Other maybe
football game.
Because books.
All right, so we, again, I went through this real fast, but we created that message. So now if we go into Interactive Commander, and again, these are single click buttons. All right, you have categories that you can create here. Right now we have basketball, volleyball, pregame. So if you want to create a new category, you just right click and then you would name it. So let's name this, I don't know, school
I have to go do it with school for
messages.
some reason, and I really don't want to do that.
They're all about saying if it's important to that person, that's
It's important.
All right, and then it'll give you a category here. Now, in this category, basically, this is the queue of what's playing. This is the categories that are user defined, and then in each category, there's content. So we need to add content into the school messages. So you can either right-click and click Add, or you can click this plus button, message file, and it should point you again to wherever, to the Proline Media folder, into messages, where I just saved that. All right, and that message was football game, I think.
Football game.
So if I click open, it puts a shortcut to it here. So if I blank the screen, if I double click it, it should go up. That's the one we just made. So all of these categories you can define. You might want to have a pregame, football, basketball, whatever. And in each category is the content. And the way to add the content